Hai ni pi, moja ni wina, hijan kishana, hini karagi wina, hanach ni pi, harajara wi, pi ji, wa unangshana. Good morning and greetings from the land of 11 nations, or as everyone else calls it, Wisconsin. I am doing fantastic this morning, and I sincerely hope everyone else is as well. Well, with so much going on in the world today, let's take a little time together and just focus on what's going on in our little part of it and see if we can't make sense of that. To each and every one of you who spend a little time every week listening to this podcast, thank you very much. Time is our most precious commodity, and I truly appreciate you sharing yours with me. If you'd like to get in touch with me, ring me up if you have my number. I'm in my office almost all the time. If not, we have a couple of ways for you to get in touch with me. My Gmail is monikaksik@gmail.com. That's MANIKAKSIK. I'm pretty active on the Chapotike Facebook page along with Twitter and LinkedIn. Hey, I even posted on Instagram last week a couple times, so there you go. Look at me. I really enjoy talking and texting with everyone. Differing opinions really help shape my message here. I know what I think, and I know what the people in my immediate group, my bubble, if you will, what they think. But if you, the people of Madison, Black River Falls, Toma, Wisconsin Dells, even California, Minnesota, Arizona, Texas, Illinois, and Iowa, if you don't share your views, how is anyone going to know what's important to you? Now, the podcasts have no political power per se. All we can do is cast a light on situations that you find interesting. If you text, email, or phone me, we could probably cast light on a situation you find interesting or troubling. Or perhaps our Office of the President, Legislature, and our General Counsel would take a look at it and deal with the situation. During the July Wisconsin Dells area meeting, a tribal member asked the area representatives if one of the tribe's investment portfolios had been liquidated. One of the area reps emphatically stated that the legislature had, quote unquote, absolutely not done that. I thought this to be strange, given the fact that this information had come from the legislature's own newly installed chief financial officer, Crystal DeShinny. At an earlier Trust and Investment Committee meeting, one of the few meetings still open to the public, by the way, CFO DeShinny informed the committee that one of the nation's investment portfolios had been liquidated. The legislature had apparently taken this action in executive session. Imagine that. After that bit of intel had been disclosed, a representative immediately reminded the CFO that items discussed in executive session are not to be shared with the public. In review, the legislature's CFO discloses executive session information in an open forum with the public, and a Ho-Chunk Nation legislator quickly reminds her that things discussed in executive session are not to be communicated to the public. Okay. Back to the investment portfolio that CFO DeShinny said was liquidated by the legislature in executive session. I talked to people who had sat in on that recent Trust and Investment Committee meeting, and the legislature did not, in fact, liquidate the portfolio. The legislator who denied that the legislature had liquidated the portfolio was absolutely 100% correct in her denial. Well, not quite 100%, but we'll get back to that. The legislature had in fact left around $130,000 of the purported $30 million that was in the portfolio. They left that $130,000 in the portfolio, just to keep it open. Let's parse this out a tad. If there was roughly $30 million in the investment portfolio and the legislature allegedly liquidated all but $130,000, that means they liquidated 99.99.5% of the portfolio, leaving 0.4% in the account. So when the legislative CFO divulged executive session information to the Trust and Investment Committee that the legislature had liquidated an investment portfolio, she was 99.9957% accurate in her statement. And when the Dells tribal member asked the area reps to confirm this reported liquidation, and the area rep retorted emphatically, "We absolutely did not do that." She was technically correct, 0.4% correct. That portfolio was not liquidated. I wonder what the interest was on the PNC loan that the nation had taken out. The Project Forward. Some of you remember it was approximately 150 mildo that the legislature took out, essentially, to gussy up the Dells, Black River Falls, and Wittenberg casinos. Hey, since we're just talking here, wasn't it our legislature, not the business people, that made this decision? I wonder if a report has ever been done that shows the ROI, the return on our investment, of that decision. I mean, hey, if you're going to plow $150 million into an investment, you darn sure want to show people the decision you made was a sound one, and it's paid off. And it's still paying off. It increased revenue at the facilities, right? Right? No? Just me? Okay, let's get back to it. If the interest rate on the PNC loan was, say, 3%, and the interest being earned off the $30 million investment portfolio was, say, 5%, I fail to see why the legislature would have liquidated 99.995% of the investment portfolio to pay off this low-interest loan. Conjecturally, according to the math, we could have been paying off a portion of our loan with interest from our investment. In essence, someone else is helping to pay off our loan. And this was bad. And if we weren't using the money in our investment portfolio to help pay the loan off, our good buddy compounding interest was pushing the nation's investment along rather heartily. Has anyone been keeping up with the news of the former President of the United States and how he purportedly built his wealth on loans? That is a major strategy of wealth. You do not use your own money to invest and develop. That's how you go broke. You use other people's money. Ask him. And what of a recent motion by the Wisconsin Dells area members where the community voted unanimously to have the legislature set up a rainy day fund? Isn't that pretty much what a $30 million investment portfolio might be used for? This recent action by the legislature would appear on the surface to do exactly the opposite of the area's motion. But, and it's a big but, I could be completely wrong about all of this. Like the rest of the nation, what little information I receive comes from the legislature, or is divulged accidentally by the legislative CFO. So I see and hear things, and I try to make what I assume to be logical conclusions. Now, the legislature sure hasn't triumphantly announced to the people that the PNC note has been paid off. But one might get the impression that maybe this is what happened. This forum, this whole thing here, is not intended to be provocative. It is intended to inform and ask questions. And I have asked members of the legislature, the office of the president, the judiciary, and the general counsel to appear and inform the nation on matters of their own choosing. Members of the office of the president, members of the general counsel, and even an executive director have appeared on the podcast. Now, I realize that sometimes I come off as a smarmy jerk, but in all honesty and sincerity, I think it would be really great if the legislature, individually, collectively, through their PR spokesman, or if the vice president herself would explain to the people just what did happen. In essence, this is the Ho-Chunk Nation's money. The legislature is simply caretakers. They are caretakers. I don't expect any member of the legislature to appear on this platform, and I understand why, and that's fine. Now, I realize that the legislature would have to break the sanctity of the executive session confidentiality code. But maybe just this once, huh? Oh yeah, what happened to the easement on the AB 12 construction? Did we sell it, or did the state take it?